Well, good evening or good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning to these two young ladies who are both sat in look like idyllic situations in Utah. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning. Nice to
Good
see
morning.
you.
Well, we're on here in conversation this evening or this morning, depending on where you are, to talk about Utah and their recent alliance with the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Dr. Kelly Brecker is part of that Global Sustainable Tourism Council, but she's also an academic at the University of Utah. She's an associate professor dealing with parks and all the good things in life that you want to see. We also have Vicky Varela, who's the top dog. She is the number one. She's the big cheese in Utah tourism, and they've got all these exciting things going on. So let's crack on. Vicky, anecdotally, I hear that many states have had a stunning 2020 because domestic tourism has been so high. And in a state like Utah, which is obviously famous for the Big Five, ski, open spaces, you name it, it's gorgeous. Have you had a good year in 2020?
Well, that's a glass half empty, glass half full question. I guess the first thing I would say is we have missed you and all your colleagues from the UK. You are such an important part of our tourism mix, and you're the kind of visitors that we're so interested in attracting under our Red Emerald strategic plan, which really focuses on sustainable tourism. So that's the first thing, is we really miss you and we can't wait for you to come back. Second is that we like to say that Mother Nature played favorites here in Utah because we have, as you know, the greatest snow on earth, the mighty 44 state parks that would be national parks and other areas. And people have been so hungry to have these outdoor experiences that despite the pain of the pandemic, we've been able to have a more rapid recovery than the surrounding Western states and much more rapid than the United States. Having said that, it's a long, slow recovery from something that none of us saw coming.
No, indeed we didn't. Kelly, let me ask you, Utah have just signed with the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Quite an exclusive club, it appears, in the United States of America. Perhaps you can tell me a little bit about what Global Sustainable Tourism Council does, and more specifically, what they do with destinations.
Thanks, Graham. Yeah, I'd love to. Certainly the council started back in conception in 2000 when several certification companies got together, and we were worried about the proliferation of certification without real guidance. So we had everything from certification programs that were doing excellent work and really changing the face of tourism, creating more sustainable opportunities and operations, to things that were primarily greenwashing and not really doing the job that people had hoped to change the industry holistically. So around 2008, we finally got all our ducks in a row, and through several organizations formed the Sustainability Tourism Stewardship Council. There was another effort happening in parallel to really, by the UNWTO and others and UNDP, to really understand how do we define it and how do we bring it to the public in a way that is digestible, that everybody can get on board with. And so with those two initiatives underway, the GSTC was formed, and we had our founding board in 2008 under the work of many organizations. And since then, you know, we're going strong, and our goal is to continue to be the creator and protector of standards for sustainable tourism and get that message out very clearly to not only certification programs, but all stakeholders. So government agencies, tourists, the people that are putting amazing programs together, hoteliers and tour operators. We do follow the guidance of ISEAL, which is a accreditor of accrediting bodies. And our primary goal is to accredit certification programs and support them, but also to get the language and the adoption holistically out to the world. And if you think of the Forestry Stewardship Council and the Marine Stewardship Council, we hope that GSTC becomes that council that people go to for expertise and support in really promoting sustainable tourism and taking action on the ground. As far as destinations, in 2012, we created a destination level criteria, which was quite an undertaking. And we had several partners in that to develop that, just as we did with the industry criteria. And we, in 2019, we rolled out the second round of the global sustainable tourism criteria for destinations with some adjustments in language, but primarily the essence was, we were finding was still really strong. So now the destination criteria is out again with clearer language and maybe a bit better organization for destinations to use to start their sustainability journey.
Cool. Vicky, if there's ever a state that needs sustaining and preserving and protecting, it's Utah with its, as we've said, with all of its natural assets. What's in it for you, so to speak, as a destination marketeer, as the person that's got the destination at its heart? What's in it for you?
Well, we have the privilege because, as you say, we have these amazing natural assets. We have the privilege of focusing on quality, quality, quality. Quality of visitation for all of our guests, and quality of experience for our hosting communities. We're not interested in volume business. We're interested in having this be a business that sustains our state for many, many years to come. And the way to do it is by learning from what Dr. Brinker is able to teach us. Fortunately, her office is right up the hill from ours. And she can guide us to do this in a way that will make communities welcome visitors from all over the world for generations to come. And that will also be a huge protection to our public lands.
And have you had total buy-in on this from your stakeholders?
It's interesting because we have what we call a Red Emerald case study. Red Emerald is the name of our strategic plan because it's a rare stone that's mined only in Utah. That's what we want the tourism experience to be, is a rare, refined experience that you can have only in Utah. And we just are in the process of releasing a Red Emerald case study by one of our hoteliers. She came to us and said, hey, in addition to all of the sustainability benefits that you have pointed out, I am making more money this way because I'm providing a higher quality experience to my visitors. They're staying longer, they're immersing themselves more. And so we're having these aha moments within our industry where people are coming together and innovating to increase their profitability as well as their sustainability.
So Kelly, is the advice basically, in essence, it's low volume, high value, restrict your numbers?
It doesn't necessarily mean low volume. I think that's kind of a misnomer, but we do want to maintain the values that people come to see in the first place. So it could be managing the volume in a different way, right? Instead of, increasing all the numbers during a particular season, you spread that out. It could mean that there are many more places except, aside from those iconic ideas that everybody puts on a checklist. So really spreading out where people are going and spreading the benefits. So I don't think those things always equate, but certainly this concept of over tourism has everybody rethinking, how can we manage this better? And I think it really comes to informing the visitor, spreading out a greater span of time of opportunity for individuals to visit other places that are similar or, have a different experience altogether. And I'm hoping that because of the pandemic, we're really taking that pause to think about what we want for the future. We know that not only for visitors to Utah, but for Utahns themselves, the protecting our natural areas is critical to our health and well-being. And we've seen that really during the pandemic. So we all have a vested interest in creating that quality experience and managing ourselves in a way that creates that sustainability in that experience for everybody, for our grandkids to come.
Can I just add, I love her description, and I will add an example, which is Utah's night skies. We have 20 of the 91 night sky designations in the world. And nighttime is an amazing time to experience the nature of Utah, and also a way of distributing this visitation in a way that protects the quality of the experience for the visitor and for the hosting community.
Vicky, do you think that in some respects, perversely, the pandemic has given more power to yourself and to Kelly to implement what you've named as the Red Emerald strategy, that people, not just your hoteliers and your stakeholders, but actually visitors, people that are coming to visit Utah, will be more aware of all of the implications of a sustainability policy?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful description. I sort of have the leadership philosophy that you never let a crisis go to waste. And this crisis has been an aha for us about going deeper into our Red Emerald strategic plan. One of the ways that we're doing it is that we're making all Utahns stewards of this tourism story. We are just launching a stewardship campaign where we're teaching our residents to teach our visitors about sustainable visitation. The desert is different than any place else on Earth, and there are ways to travel through the desert that people need to understand so that they protect these lands for future generations.
Kelly, many people talk about the halo effect of tourism, in that people come, visit place, like it, decide to relocate industry, relocate their house. Today, with digital nomads, etc., there's no reason why anybody could do that. Is that also a danger for Utah and for danger for the citizens, that Utah is such an idyllic Shangri-La that, yeah, absolutely, I want to live there. I want to enjoy the beautiful snow and the big five and open spaces and clean air and hold hands. That's what I want. How does one control that?
I don't know that anyone controls that. I think we're studying it. We have a group called the Gateway and Natural Amenity Resource Group, or the NAR initiative, and that's with colleagues from all over the state to really look at this phenomenon. We're also holding a lot of webinars with other state associates across the United States, because this isn't just happening in Utah, it's happening really in any area with natural amenities that people want to be a part of. We don't know if it's a blip on the proverbial time warp screen, or if it's going to continue. And if it is, then that puts more onus on our local communities to really think about sustainability and development within the communities. but also maybe limits to an extent. You know, we're in desert environments here in Utah, and we have water limits, we have resource limits that need to be considered as part of that bigger picture. So can we, you know, can we manage it differently going forward? And I think that's, we're seeing our faculty were calling in from the coast because they wanted to spend a week at the beach, and they could do so because everything was digital. So it is interesting to see that phenomenon. Really, we knew it was happening before, but it really was emphasized during this time. So I think it does come back to sustainability and managing our communities in a way that, you know, not only we don't want to keep people out, but we also want to consider what kinds of limits we have in these areas and how to manage that better.
Cool. Vicky, from a destination marketing organization's perspective, you spoke of earlier that you've missed international travel, and you've missed international travelers because they tend to spend more, stay longer. So the watchword these days in this post-pandemic world is fly less, stay longer. Do you have to change your marketing messages as a state tourism board, you know, as a destination internationally, or you just stick with what you had before? You know, a brand, Utah brand, is basically parks and open spaces. Do you think you need to modify that at all to take into account this relatively new sustainability initiative?
Well, I think the patterns that we're seeing play to our strategy. And so we need to make sure that our messages emphasize the way you can really spread out and immerse yourself in our region. And so I would say we've been iterating, but we haven't made any dramatic changes because the trends that we see play to exactly what our goals and strategies are.
Okay, and what do you think is the biggest threat to Project Red Emerald? Do you think it's the lure of the greenback and your stakeholders will say, I like it, I want more people here? Or do you think it will be external forces, you know, external government forces, for example?
I think for many years, we were in the volume business as we were becoming recognized as an international destination. And so it's a matter of these thoughtful conversations that Dr. Brinker has referenced to bring our community and our industry along to ensure that we're not greenwashing, that we're making really thoughtful changes that will create the long-term viable industry. And it's not it's not an easy thing because as you asked earlier, you know, how is the industry coming along with it? Well, we have these thought leaders that are having these aha moments, but others that are still finding their way. And so we're doing lots of sharing of information. We're changing the way we communicate. Sometimes tourism industries travel in their own lane. And for us in Utah, the important thing is for everyone to be engaged in the tourism conversation so that we can, you know, as an example, our state has been willing to make hundreds of millions of dollars in investments in outdoor recreation infrastructure because we understand that that is our core brand. It's a big part of what has attracted people to move here. It's what the reason many people grew up here and chose to never leave. And so in order to have a sustainable quality of life for all of our economic development, as well as tourism, we need to be willing to invest in the things that differentiate us. It's these sorts of thoughtful discussions and broader engagement to other partners in economic development that will enable us to create a steady path for the future.
That's very good. I mean, it requires strong leadership and strong political leadership. You're a woman, I'm sure, has the ear of the governor. Are they all, is the governor fully in favour and fully behind this Red Emerald project?
Yes, we have a new governor here in Utah, and I have actually been amazed what an ambassador he has been for our Red Emerald strategic plan. He has created a policy group and defined a course that we call One Utah. And I have never had so much engagement from the governor's office asking how we can work together, and as I've referenced, as a larger economic development strategy. So just another example is transportation, ensuring that our transportation funding recognizes not just where people live, but where people travel, so that we're creating transportation solutions that will serve our visitors well, will serve the tourism economies in those regions, so that we're not spending our vacations waiting to get from point A to point B, but we're getting there efficiently and protecting air quality and in the journey. And so it's a really exciting time.
Yes, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's full of challenges.
Yeah, I can believe it. Kelly, last word with you. You're muted at the moment, but last word with you. It's probably because your dog's barking, is it? But presumably you want Utah to become a case study for every other state tourism board in the United States, and in fact beyond international borders to other countries in the world. If that's the case, how long do you think it would take for Utah to become this shining beacon, red beacon in this case, as opposed to a green beacon of excellence in sustainability?
Well, I think we're off to a great start, and I think sustainability is a journey. So I'm hoping that Utah is on the cutting edge for a very long time. With our Office of Outdoor Recreation, as Vicky mentioned earlier, combining that with support for outdoor infrastructure and resources to communities that are really enhancing outdoor opportunities for not only visitors, but also their residents. Utah's been a leader in that. And as a result, many other states are adopting offices of outdoor recreation. With the Red Emerald program, I believe Utah will be again a shining red beacon on the landscape in the United States. I was thrilled to see this partnership evolve and develop as we've had graduate students studying this for several years, actually, since I've been in Utah for 14 years. And Utah just continually gets on the map for initiatives underway. And I think the resident stewardship program will be something that we can highlight and share with other states. I think there will be the Red Emerald. Once that's completely rolled out, that'll be something that people will look to for guidance and sharing stories and really helping to copy the mission, right? Copy the mission of making our natural and cultural resources available for many, many generations to come. And I think that's the goal. And I think everybody, especially in the Intermountain West, where we have unique dark skies, unlike anything else in the rest of the United States, we have a real opportunity to shine in a red way, in a very red way, and be the example for the rest of the U.S.
Excellent. Well, very, very best of luck. I mean, it's a big, big project. Without over-egging it, it's like a cultural, societal change in the state of Utah and across the nation. So I genuinely wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we can talk about this maybe in 6 to 9 months' time and see how you're getting on.
Excellent.
So for now, I'd like to say, Vicky, Kelly, thank you very much, and have an excellent rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Graham. Thank you, Vicky.